I'm Julia.
And I'm Nick.
And this is the Enthusiast Lab. Welcome back to another episode of the Enthusiast Lab. Today's topic, we are going to be covering what does a build journey look like. So you've had your first appointment with Nick, you've discussed your finances, you've put a plan in place, you've chosen your land, you've chosen your design, and you've officially put pen to paper, you've signed up. What now?
What the fuck happens now?
And I don't think a lot of people realise that your build doesn't happen immediately. There's a whole process that goes on behind the scenes before you actually go to construction
100%.
stage.
And it's not many people know because you'd assume, okay, I get approved and I go and start the build because we've established homes, and what by established we mean just buying a home is you get approved and then you purchase the home and you move in. There is a lot more that goes into detail with building. The easiest way is it's split into two stages or two parts, or two phases. Fucking all the different ways of explaining it. Number one is the pre-construction phase.
Or also known as administration
phase.
Or
the administration phase. And then number two is the actual construction phase. So the actual construction of your home after everything else has been taken care of, now we're building.
And we are probably going to be doing this in a three-parter where we're going to talk about the administration / pre-construction phase in another episode.
Yes.
And then we'll do the construction phase in the episode after that. Today is just an overview
of the whole situation,
the whole
journey.
And exactly what happens in that phase. We'll talk into later episodes. But it gives you a good understanding of what happens after you sign up.
Yeah, basically, if I was to build what the fuck it actually entails versus just buying established, and then we'll go into detail with the whole shebang of each phase.
Yeah, exactly. So let's talk about the administration phase first. You call it pre-construction. I call it administration.
I'm right, you're wrong.
Whatever. Okay, so pre-construction phase. You want to go into it?
Yeah, all right. So basically, you paid your deposit. You know, you paid for your initial sketch. You've signed off on your sketch and the initial quote, and you've basically gone, cool, here's my deposit, create my building contracts. That's when this begins. So what really happens from here is you've got a bit of an overview of what you're meant to be getting. Now you let the builder actually get all this shit sorted. And at the same time, during this phase is you've also signed a land contract and paid a deposit to that. So you've now secured a block subject to finance in X amount of time. You're now going towards doing your finances for the land, and from your building side, you're doing the building contracts so that you can get all that info, sign it off so you can go for finance.
Yep. So you've given us all the paperwork. Cool. We at Mr. Enthusiast, and pretty much 99% of the consultants do this.
Yes.
They submit all of your details to the builder.
Yes.
They submit all of your details to the land agent if you haven't signed up on land before meeting with us.
Correct.
And we submit all of your details to the broker. Those are the three people who will be working behind the scenes. Well, the land agent kind of stops once the land contract is issued. But those are the two main ones, the builder and the finance, that runs parallel in the administration phase to create all the things that need to happen before you begin construction.
Yes.
So let's talk about the land agent, which we say they create documents called offer and acceptance, which we call O&A.
Yep.
And that's basically your land contract to say that you are signing up on this piece of land, and once everything is correct and if everything aligns, you will own this land in X amount of time.
Yeah, so to speak. So the easiest way to explain the land contract is there's a 2-page document at first, which is governed by REWA, right? That is the offer and acceptance, and then all the annexures that are provided by that in that estate for that block, because in different by different developers, they have different annexures. So what we're talking is the covenants that we've spoken about, the design guidelines and stuff, because it does fluctuate. Some of them are very simple, some of them are a bit more complicated. So that's what all of that's about. And remember, with the land side, it is all subject to finance. So it's just
keep that there.
FYI.
The builder does a lot more in this stage.
100%.
So I'm going to list out things. Nick, you interject whenever you want to explain something in a little bit more detail.
Absolutely.
Keeping in mind, we're going to have a whole episode on this coming up next.
I'll try.
So they do your design and admin checks.
Yep.
They do your working drawings.
Correct.
Do you want to explain what working drawings
All right,
are?
so working drawings is the proper drawings for your plan, for your home. So what you initially get is just like a sketch. So, piece of paper with lines on it as a rough idea on the block, roughly how it is. The actual, working drawings is when you go into real detail. So they've done the survey and engineers so they can see what's actually on the block and all these scenarios. And now they're going through all the different elevations. So you've got your floor plan exactly measured to the fucking millimeter, but also how the front of the home's going to look, how the block and the home is situated, like how the home, is situated on the block with everything around it, with the dimensions. It has some engineering drawings about the footings that will be required. It goes through as well, in these working drawings, it shows your electrical plan. So then you see where PowerPoints and what's actually included, as well as the elevations for your bathroom and your kitchen normally as well. So it gives a much more in-depth process.
By elevations, what you mean is it's like as if you were standing in the room looking at the kitchen.
Yeah. So it's like a 2D? Is it 2D?
Yeah, 2D.
Yeah, so it's a 2D drawing of you as if like you start as like a bird's eye view, and then one as if you're facing straight in front of it, if we're facing on the side of it, for each of those relevant areas. But it's not for the entire home. It's only the big bits, which is your kitchen, your bathroom, your ensuite, laundry.
Yeah.
Cool.
So those are your four, and that's your working drawings. The builder also does a site survey and soil testing.
Correct.
Want to do more info on that?
A little bit. Okay, so site survey it's sent off to a company that do all the surveys. So they go out onto the block. The surveyors basically do their shit with the fancy cameras. You see them all the time out on the site, like out when you're driving on the street and shit. And the engineer basically they go out and they do a soil test report. So what they do is they do a couple boreholes on the block, grab the soil sample, and then do testing to see what's actually in the ground. So a developer can potentially try and sell you going, hey, this is all sand. And then when they drill those motherfucking holes, they might go, okay, cool, the top bit's sand, but underneath might be limestone or clay or some shit. So whatever, based on what the home's going to be, then we can get those results to then see if we need to adjust your slab or your footings and stuff like that, because that is all required for when they create your building contract and your quote.
And this is also, it links back into our last episode about site works.
Correct.
So this is when fixed versus
provisional
comes in hand, because if it's fixed, they'll still do the probe because they need to know how much 100%. It would cost. And if it's provisional, this is when you'll know exactly how much it would cost.
Exactly. And this is where once all these results are done, then you know exactly where you fucking stand with that block and what you're going to have to deal with. It's because it's not like you can really dispute this. This is the actual results coming back. Now you need to go, cool, did I allow enough with that provisional, or did I get fucked over? And with the fixed one, was it correct, or was that incorrect as well?
Yeah, exactly. The builder also then creates your contracts.
Yes, building contracts, yep.
And when the contracts are created, this is when the finance broker jumps back in and he has your contract. So he will start submitting that paperwork to the bank.
Yep, once it's signed though. So you need to,
Yes.
so you'll go through, hold your horses, Julia. So once it's all been issued, it then goes back to you as the client. You go over it all, you're checking all your details, read it all over if you want to, the whole legal building contract. Double check that the plans are what you've agreed on initially with all the changes. Once you're happy with it all, you sign that off. Then that goes back to the builder. The builder signs their side. Then they get sent to the building, to your broker, to your finance broker along with a copy of your deposit for the build, because that all goes to the bank because it's a requirement.
Yes.
And then that's when they start the finance stage.
And then the broker submits all the paperwork to the bank.
Yes.
And he orders valuations.
Correct.
So then you can achieve formal finance.
Yep. Once the valuation's back, they tick it all off, then boom, you get approved.
Yes. So the broker and the builder from contract stage are kind of running parallel to each other.
Yes.
Both trying to complete their relevant tasks in the fastest method possible so that they can meet at the end and kind of move you on to the construction phase.
Correct.
So
because you won't build without the approval from the bank.
Well, no, if you don't have the money, you can't build the house.
Exactly, but cause sometimes people go, well, I'm not going to sign anything until I get approved. You can't get approved until you've signed the contracts to get it done. So you have to work together towards it. But again, even with the building contract, it is subject to finance. There is a clause in there.
Yes.
So if shit does hit the fan, you can cancel your land and your build.
Yes.
Just because I think some people get concerned and get pushed by some builders. It can happen like that.
Yep. The builder also, from here, does your pre-start meeting.
Yes.
And pre-start meeting's kind of the fun part because you start to choose all
For
your
you.
colours. Well, for me, because I love doing this kind of stuff.
Fuck, I might as well have just gone and had a fucking beer. Like, I fucking hell, that was see, for me, that was fucking overwhelming. Choosing every single colour for every single little bit. I can totally see someone that is a bit more creative would absolutely love it. For me, I'm just sitting there going, might as well just go
Black.
and do it.
Black,
Yeah.
grey,
Yep.
black.
White, and grey. Should be right.
Pre-start is when you choose all your colours. So
Yes.
it's the taps, what colour taps, it's your
Bench tops,
bench
your
tops, door frames,
cabinetry.
cabinets, yeah.
This is where you also go into detail with your electricals. So you'll see exactly where your power points are. Do you need to add extra ones? Do you need to move them? Your lighting, do you have downlights? Do you not have them? What do you need to do? This is where you really set up the home. If you choose upgraded tiles, this is where this all comes into play with everything.
Yes. You then have once you've done your pre-start meeting and everything else, you then have your final docs created.
Correct.
So that is all of your contracts and all the documents that you have.
Once you've signed off and chosen everything and
Yeah.
allocated. So your final docs and your final plans, that is what the builder is actually going to build on. So your initial contract sketch that you first sign off, that's not what you're going to build on because you haven't finalized the height of everything and the final bits and bobs of, if you added overheads at pre-start where it wasn't included before. Those final plans and
Final docs.
And all the final docs, so to speak, your pre-start addenda, everything that has been all finalized, that is what we're going to be building on.
That's the one that you look at when you think about what is my house going to look like.
Exactly.
So from there, the builder starts applying for all the permits.
Correct.
And this can take a little while because there are a lot of permits to apply for.
Holy fuck, yes there is, and we'll go into more detail, but this also keep in mind, builders do all these phases at slightly different rates, right? So you can't paint the picture on every builder doing the same thing because there have been times we're doing our clients, right?
Yep.
They've signed a contract. By the time they've booked their pre-sale, which is like in 4 to 6 weeks' time, they've already got build permits.
Yeah.
So not everyone is doing the same rate going, wait for this, wait for this, wait for that. Some of them do things a lot quicker. Some will actually hold off.
Yes.
So just keep all of these in mind because this also affects your time frame.
Yes. So by permits, what we mean is developer approval.
Correct.
If you have a bushfire attack level, coastal, engineers, energy efficiency, water permit,
CDC.
indemnity, insurance, building permit, CDC, so much more.
Yeah.
So the
There is
builder's
intense.
applying for all of these to make sure that they can build the home. It's going to
It's going to fall within all the scope of works for everything because you need to be 6-star energy efficient for the home. Otherwise, you won't get your build permit. The council needs to approve the plans. Your developer needs to approve the plans and the colours and how it's all set up. So many of these, if any of these guys say no, you have to go back and reassess shit. So you need to get all these things done. It's not just like, I've signed it, I've got to approve, now build it. Everyone else has to agree on it. Everyone has to suit within their criteria. Then we can move forward.
And that sounds much more complicated than what it is. It normally 9 times out of 10 is super smooth sailing.
Oh, fuck yeah.
But it's good for you guys to
yes.
know that this is all happening in the background because you
100%.
can't just put lines on a piece of paper and say build it.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot more that goes into
Definitely.
actually building a home.
Definitely.
So once all the permits are returned, everything is returned, you then go to the scheduling team And the scheduling team are there to order all the quants for your build.
Yep.
Like every brick, every bit of sand, everything is calculated.
So quant is basically you're now grabbing all of the materials that are required based on that floor plan, ordering all the materials, securing all the trades, getting all the things ready, so then you can actually have it all prepped. And again, it's so hard because so many builders change shit. Some builders only do a portion of it up front to get you to site quicker. Some builders will do the entire job, which makes it a lot more easier down in the long run to do things. But basically, they're preparing it all. They're securing everything, ordering your concrete, your mortar, all those things. And then once that's all been ticked off, then you move forward because now everything's been done. All the docs are done, the permits are done, all the scheduling's done, all the materials are done. Boom, fucking send it.
Somewhere between your contract docs and your scheduling, you would have received formal finance from your broker.
Correct.
So that means that you were officially approved for X amount of money to build this home.
Yes.
The banker said, yes, we do think that this home is valued at this much on this land. We do think that all of this marries up.
Here's your money.
Here is your money. Let's build.
Cool.
Then you move to settlement.
Yes.
So settlement is when the title of the land moves from...
It gets transferred from the developer who currently owns it and gets transferred under your name. So you officially own a piece of dirt in X amount of area.
Woohoo!
Go build your sandcastle, guys.
So you are officially at the end of administration phase or pre-construction phase, and you move now into construction.
Correct.
So this is the phase 2. This is when you actually start to see what
things
you
happening
have
on site.
envisioned. Yeah.
So from it being just a fucking block of sand, you'll now start to see things actually moving and works being done to the home.
Yeah, exactly. And if you follow us on Instagram or Facebook, you'd see a lot of our posts highlight the milestone moments.
Yes.
And those are the ones that I want to cover today.
Okay.
In our construction episode, we'll go into a lot more detail about what actually happens.
Cool.
So the main milestone moments of your construction phase.
Yep.
First is slab.
Well, first is actually earthworks.
Earthworks, but like I said, it's your milestone moments.
Okay, cool.
The moments where you go out onto site as a client and you go, I've achieved another step.
Yeah, when you actually get to physically see something there on your slab, on your block is slab. Slab's the big one.
So do you want to talk about slab?
Yeah, so obviously it's the slab of your home. So this doesn't entail a lot of the times everything. It is like the footprint of your home. Mm-hmm. What you will notice, especially in WA, is because of double brick construction and how WA builders are, your garage will not have been poured at the same time. It will be just your home. So your alfresco and your garage will not be included in this pour. It always looks a little bit small. Don't worry about it. It's the styling phase. Once the bricks are up and the roof is on, then you start to see the full size of the home. But don't be scared. We haven't missed half of your house. It is there. It's just this is the footprint of the home. Yeah,
exactly. And the next milestone moment is brickwork.
Yes.
So that's the start and the end of brickwork, because when your bricks are delivered, that's like the beginning of brick stage. And if you visit your house regularly, you'll see wall by wall they go up. And so brickwork's like the next milestone moment.
It's the next big one where things really start to take shape and you can see the walls all coming together. You can start seeing the rooms all start molding together and actually being able to walk into each area and go, oh shit, okay, this is what we're actually dealing with. Whereas with a slab, it's just completely empty.
Yeah.
Just a slab board.
It's very hard to look at a slab and envision that this will one day be a home.
Correct.
The next stage after that is roof, and roof comes in 2 stages.
Yes.
You've got your roof frame and then you've got your roof cover.
Correct. So roof frame is basically, depending on the builder, it'll either be all the timber beams when they're all pitched up. Sorry. And if it's not timber, it's normally steel trusses. Once that phase is done, then it gets measured and then you get your actual your roof cover material delivered. So most of the time it's ColourBond steel. If not tiles, and then that goes on top of the roof. Obviously, gets slapped on, and now you've achieved the roof cover. So your full roof stage is now complete.
Yes. So now you can walk through the home and have a roof over your head, essentially.
Literally.
But there's still nothing inside.
No.
There will be no doors, no windows, so you'll still have
no ceilings.
Very heavy breeze that comes through if you're going there in winter. The next stage is lockup.
Correct. So lockup is achieved once you've had all these things. So you've got the roof on now, and now all of a sudden your windows get installed, your doors are installed, like your sliding doors as well, obviously, and normally your walls and ceilings are installed as well. Now, with the walls, just quickly, if you have wet set plaster, that needs to be completed first, so the render and the plaster. If you've got gyprock boards, the gyprock will be on.
Yes.
So just because obviously there's two different ways things get done.
Yes.
So all these things need to be done, then you'll be officially at lockup. Basically, it means that you're locked out of the home.
Yes.
That's what lockup is.
And by doors, that doesn't mean internal doors. Internal doors are most likely delivered, but they won't be attached to the door frames because they would still need to be painted and everything like that.
Correct.
So by doors is your external doors.
Yeah,
your front door, garage door, laundry door, and your sliding patio door.
Yeah, so any point of entry into the home.
Yes.
All of those externals, doors and windows, all have to be fitted out for you to achieve lockup.
Yes. So as a client, you're locked out.
Yes.
As us, we are not.
No, we're not.
And between lockup and the next stage is when all the cool stuff really kind of happens. Well, in my opinion, because for me, I get to see a slab and bricks and roof all the time, but when I start to see the colour choices on a kitchen and in the bathroom.
All the judgment.
It's such excitement because so many of our clients do such a good job. Like I walk in, I'm like, bro.
And like how many times have we said that where we'll build a design almost identical to each other and then the colour choices completely change the home.
Yeah, difference between greys and your like whites and browns.
Whites,
yeah.
Yeah.
Completely changes it, and both look so stunning.
100%.
But so different. Like completely changes the vibe, but both look amazing.
Yeah, exactly. So this is, we're starting to square away, but basically going into the stage from lockup to, which is the next one, which is called practical completion. This is where everything happens. So your tiling to the wet areas, your cabinetry goes in, your flooring goes in, your blinds go in, literally everything, your appliances, your bathtubs, and you'll notice, you can go out weekly or fortnightly, whatever. You'll see things happen all the time, and this is the most exciting part. I agree with you with the building because, yes, it's cool to see the whole thing, but now one day you're going in and seeing that some of the tiles in your bathroom is being set up, being installed, and then within a few weeks, the flooring in your living area has been done, and the carpets are in, and the blinds are on, and you see the whole kitchen set up with all the cabinetry and the stone or whatever you get. It really starts taking shape of, holy fuck, this is mine.
Yeah.
This
is what I've created. This is what I designed.
This is what I've created, and to see it come to life.
Yeah. So that leads us into the next stage, section, which you mentioned, which is practical completion inspection.
So PCI.
PCI. And that is when you walk through the home, which is almost finished.
Yeah. It's basically it's when you're practically able to live into this home.
Yes. And you walk through that with the site supervisor.
Correct.
And you check over all the things. Everything. So you check your taps and your painting. You basically walk through the home and you look for any defects or any mistakes that you might have picked up.
Any concerns.
By mistakes, we mean like painting mistakes or wrong tapware, maybe like a little ding in the wall.
Yeah. Anything that you pick up, like making sure that your doors are sealed and painted, making sure that all the tapware, that there's no scratches on it, any blemishes. Sometimes you might see, like Julie just mentioned, like on the walls, you might see a ding or something. You note them all down. This is where everything that you can see, you note them down, you raise those concerns, and you go through that with the supervisor step by step in each point, and they'll guide you through. And then, yep, cool. You know what? We need to rectify this, and this, and that is your PCI. It's basically, this is your final check over on the whole home before they do the final touch ups, and then you're booked in for the next stage, which is
handover.
This is the most exciting one.
This is the most exciting one. And I love going to handovers because the excitement on clients' faces, it's undescribable.
I physically cannot explain it. It's one of the biggest parts of why I continue in this industry. Seeing it all come together and handing those keys over and seeing the excitement, and we've been able to help someone, kickstart their journey in life and, to this next step. You can't have that any other way. I can't even fucking explain it.
It's ooey gooey.
Yeah, it's ooey gooey without me admitting to ooey gooey.
It's melt your heart ooey gooey.
It's fucking sick though.
So yeah, those are your main kind of construction points. Obviously, a lot more goes into construction, which we will get into at another episode. Same like the pre-construction phase. A lot more happens where we will give a lot more information about how and what actually happens in that stage.
Yes.
But as an overview, from signing up to receiving keys, that's everything that happens in between, plus more.
Plus some.
Plus some.
Again, it's the overview of it, but still enough detail that you can sit there and go, okay, fuck, there is quite a bit into this. But again, a lot of things run parallel with each other, so it's not like you have to wait for each stage and each thing to happen. A lot of things can work together. Like from, like we've seen in construction, from lock-up to completion, you might have tilers getting done and cabinets being installed and electrical is happening all within at the same time, because not all the trades are going to affect each other, so that you can do several at a time. So just keep that in mind. It doesn't mean that everything's going to be forever. It's just there's a lot that comes into play, and we're here to give you all that info.
The only thing that doesn't run parallel or at the same time is in the first 3 stages, from slab to bricks to roof.
Yeah.
You can't go put tiles onto a slab. It just doesn't work that way.
No, it doesn't work.
Just in case someone's out there, have to state it.
No.
And I hope that helps you guys just a little bit understand what a build process looks like and why it takes so long versus buying an established house where, you can get in within 30 or 60 days.
Yeah.
Why it takes so long, because there's so much that goes into building. Plug.
Do you want to do a recap first?
Recap? Okay, sure.
I like the recaps. I'm pretty sure everyone else likes the recaps too.
All right, hold on. Let me scroll.
Thanks, Ryan.
Okay, recap. So there are 2 types of stages in building: your pre-construction stage or phase and your construction phase.
Yep.
In the pre-construction phase, you are working alongside the builder and the broker, who run parallel to each other.
Yes.
The broker is trying to achieve formal finance for you.
Yes.
By doing a bundle of things. And the builder is doing a lot of checks to get you to construction, such as designs, working drawings, site surveys, contracts, pre-start, final docs, permits, and scheduling. Once you have formal finance and
the builder's done, settlement,
then you go towards settlement and you settle on your land, which is when the title of the land moves from the developer into your name.
Correct.
Then
you now own that site.
You now own that land.
Yep.
And then you move into the construction phase.
Correct.
Which the construction phase has the milestone moments, which we just covered: your slab, your bricks, your roof, your lock-up, your PCI, and then key handover.
Correct.
And that is a 40-second summary of a 14 or 12 to 14-month process.
100%. And that's what it's all about, is it gives you a bit more of an idea. And this is why in that pre-construction we mention with clients as well, is even though you might not have finished all your savings, etc., you can hit 2 birds with one stone, getting the ball rolling. Let the builder do their side while you're finishing your savings, so that you marry it up, so that all the building stuff is completed. You finish your savings, we're going straight for finance. Mm-hmm. You get approved, you settle, and then within a few weeks you're moving straight to construction, because you've already done all that pre-construction side. So, because some people always sit there going, I need to get all my savings before getting the ball rolling. You don't need to, because you still got to go through that regardless if it's now or later.
Yeah, you've got a couple months in the pre-construction phase getting all the documents together. So you've got time to save up money if you need to.
Exactly. And that way you secure the pricing, you secure things and the land, you're not waiting that much longer, and you can get it all done.
Perfect. I hope that recap made sense. I'm panically trying to read the iPad. Right. Now are you ready to plug?
Yes.
So you can find Mr. Enthusiast on
Google, Facebook, Insta, TikTok, YouTube. We've got Spotify for the Enthusiast Lab and Apple Podcasts as well.
Perfect. And just remember, guys,
we're not here
to fuck spiders. Bye.